Hello, everyone. Welcome to another live stream. Now, I know I haven't been live for a very long time, but I tend to change that now. Expect me to be coming live more often, and especially on Saturdays, where I'll be able to do some weekly recaps and some low cap gem review. Now, it's really important for I have this responsibility to talk about projects and update you guys on whether or not that these projects that I cover on my channel, whether or not they are still worth your time or whether or not they are still worth your investments. And that's what I'm going to be doing today. In today's live stream, we're going to be looking at several crypto projects that I've covered before on my channel. We're going to be looking at Morpheus Labs, Labs Group, MITS, Broccoli Network, Hustle, Lanceria, and so on. This is very important because it's important to follow up a project to make sure that you are up to date on what the project is doing, to make sure that this project is still worth holding and is still worth your investment, because not every project you invest in is going to be a good performer. And it's important, if you're in the crypto space, to know when to pull out of a project. So there are three things that are very important in making sure that your investment is good, in following up a project. And the first thing is to pay attention whether or not the project is still true to the idea. Now, there are several projects out there that they change their idea. They can start out as a gaming project, but all of a sudden they want to become a metaverse, an AI project. So that's not a good sign. When you're following up a project, the first thing to look out for is whether they are still true to the idea. The reason why you invested in the first place, you want to make sure that that project remains true to that idea. The second thing to look out for is the engagement. It's important to see whether this project is still active, whether they are still actively engaging with the community. Are they answering questions, and are they doing AMAs and stuff like that, making sure that, oh, we are alive, we are here, and we are still, updating the project and doing marketing. And the third and most important part is if the team is still developing the project, if the team is still updating the project, and that's mainly to do with following the roadmaps. So check the projects, check the roadmaps. Are they still following that? Are they still making sure that what they intend to do, they are working on it, and whether they are meeting up with the targets that they've set for themselves. Now, these three things is best if the projects can accomplish all of them, but that's not always the case. It could be that they've ticked two out of the three of them. It could be that they've ticked one out of three of them, but it's bad if projects don't tick any of them. Just know that, okay, it's not really worth my time anymore if they can't follow all these three criteria that I've set for it. So yeah, with that being said, I'm going to quickly go through these projects. I'm going to quickly let you know whether or not it's worth your time, what's your investments, and yeah, let's take a quick look at that. But before that, let me quickly address some comments. BitsDP is so great to have you first as usual, and my good friend S Ready. I'm really glad you like this video live stream idea, and yeah, expect more of it. Every week I will have a summary on projects, whether they are still worth your time, especially the ones I haven't spoken about in a while. And I would also give you a gem of the week, a good performer that I believe has very strong potential for the next bull run. And a quick look at the markets. Bitcoin is still plateauing, having difficulty staying above 30K. And this is the time that I always believe is good to do research in the crypto space. It's good now to manage your portfolio, organize your portfolio before things get exciting or before things get dangerous. That's why we're doing this live stream today. Maybe there's some more fraud coming around. You don't want to be holding weak projects. And if there's going to be good news on the horizon, you don't want to be, staying by the sidelines without getting some exposure. And the first project we are going to be looking at in today's live stream is Morpheus Labs. Now, the first criteria I said we should look at is the project idea. Has Morpheus Labs gravitated away from its original idea? No. In fact, they are still growing stronger in terms of its idea of aiding crypto adoption. I've gone through the project, I've gone through their Twitter, and I've followed up this project, and I still like what I'm seeing with it. I like the fact that the projects are having more events, they're having they're trying to gain more exposure, and that's a good thing to see. So it's really good to see that Morpheus Lab is still going out there. The idea of the project is still very good, and this is a project that is still a low market cap, in my opinion. It's a low cap gem that is sitting at a market cap of $4.5 million, and circulating supply isn't out here right now. Maybe it will be on CoinGecko, but I do like the idea of the project. So, like I said, if you check the idea is still true and whether they are or not they are engaging, they've ticked the first two criteria that I think is important. They are engaging, they are having AMAs, and you can see here, like with other brands out there, they had this exciting events and they're still planning some more. The next part is whether or not they are still updating. And if you want to see whether or not a project is still updating, whether or not they're still following whether or not they're still building the project, then you have to take a look at the roadmap and see whether they are following the roadmap or at least building to follow that roadmap. And yeah, that is good to see that Morpheus Lab is actually following their roadmap and making sure that the idea of the project is still being executed and improved upon. Their Web3 automation workflow is improving, especially with Morpheus Lab seed. And if you take a look deeper into their platform on their website, you would see that this is a project that is still actually building on its ideas. So in today's video review, their most recent news is their partnership with Tencent Cloud, and that's to integrate more of metaverse developments with the Morpheus Lab project. And that was in July. That was on July 19th, so about 3 days ago. So this project is still very much alive, is very much active and engaging with the community, and they are still developing and updating their products. In conclusion, I really still think Morpheus Lab is worth holding, and I'm not really worried about this project for the long term. So I'm going to am I seeing a question about Morpheus Lab from S Ready? Are you seeing any tangible project activity for MITX based on the Huawei partnerships? That's a very good question, because Huawei is a big brand in China, and the idea of Morpheus Lab is to make sure that there's this integration from web 2 to web 3 to make the adoption much more easier. And you see here on their websites their partnerships with Huawei. With the Morpheus Lab seeds, that Huawei is well poised to offer a suite of offerings to companies globally who wish to adopt blockchain technology into their inventory or system. So the nature of Huawei is to build electronics, and their partnerships with Morpheus Lab is to make it easy for them to integrate the blockchain with Huawei. I think the framework is there for Huawei. It's now up to Huawei to build with it. Take, for example, their other partnership, and that ties in very nicely with the next project I'm covering, is Stainex. Stainex is utilizing Morpheus Labs more effectively than Huawei right now. But it's good to see that they have the products out there for Huawei to use. Whether or not Huawei uses it is the question. But the fact that they are partnered with Huawei and Huawei can easily utilize it, I think that's the strength for Morpheus Lab, and it gives Morpheus Labs more exposure. So very good question from S Ready. And guys, please don't forget, the point of live stream is for me to have a more active engagement with my community, with all of you amazing folks out there. So feel free to drop whatever questions you have for me down below. I'll be able to address it if I have the time. So that's regarding Morpheus Labs. And like I said, they also have an interesting partnership with Stainex. Making the idea of Morpheus Lab is to make the adoption of the blockchain technology easy. And what projects utilize with it. It can vary whether it's from metaverse or gaming to blockchain to technology on the phone or even with real world assets. And that's the idea behind StainX and Labs Group. Now, Labs Group, let me just say straight away, the price action has not been good from when I first covered it. And that mainly has to do with tokenomics. Now, like I said, again, I'm going to reiterate there are three things to pay attention to when checking up on a project. Is the idea still true? Are they still staying true to the idea? You don't want a project that started out as a metaverse project, then they're jumping up to over to the AI trend just for the fun of it. Are they still engaging with the community? That's the second point. You have to make sure that they're answering questions, hosting AMAs and so on. And the third point is, are they updating? Are they still developing the project to make sure it's the best that it can be? Some projects have a complete product already, so all they need to do is marketing. So it's just the first 2 points for them. So when it comes to Labs Group, there has been some issue around with Labs Group, especially with all of this migration. But surprisingly, Labs Group has been more active recently than in the past, maybe to quiet down the FOD. I checked in on their Telegram, and one of the major issues with the price action, one of the biggest concerns that people had with it mainly had to do with the tokenomics. It currently has 20%, and the maximum supply is 10 billion tokens. Only 2 billion is in circulation. So about 22% in circulation right now. It probably has to do with the staking rewards and the likes. And CoinMarketCap hasn't really updated it. So there was some issue. There were some issues. There was some fraud around it. But taking a deeper look at the project, I still think Labs Group has a decent idea. Utilizing StainX, their partnerships with Morpheus Labs and all that's being good. What they intend to do is using NFT technology and the tokens to provide benefits at resorts all around the world. There are several challenges with this, and is that there are millions of real world assets out there for many in the Web2 space, but StainX and Labs Group has about 700. So it's a very tiny market, a very tiny niche, but they have an interesting way of using the blockchain, of using NFTs, and I'm glad to see that. So the tokenomics are not the best. 10 billion maximum supply with 2 billion in circulation. And there's it's a limited niche, just about 700 resorts or so. And not everybody is going to use blockchain technology, but the option is there and the idea is good. So the first 2 points for Labs Group, yes, it's a plus for them. And their most recent announcement in terms of activity is to do with Morpheus Labs, their partnerships with Morpheus Labs. So, in summary, when it comes to Labs Group, the updates on Labs Group, I think the idea is still good. They already have a product, so it mainly has to do with marketing. The issue was some fraud around the tokenomics and the migration to a new contract. But other than that, I still think Labs Group is still developing, is still growing nicely. They are going to have an AMA, I think, very soon, but there's not too much to worry about. An AMA is going to be hosted tomorrow with Labs Group on the 23rd of July. So, like I said, the idea is still the same, and they are engaging nicely with the community. So yeah, that's good to see. That's the update I have on Labs Group. Where do I think Labs Group will go in the long term for the bull run? Well, it's a real world assets crypto, and I'm very bullish on that narrative. But there are several approaches to real world assets. There's an approach of mirroring stock, like with SMT. There's approach of renting real world, tokenizing and collateralizing real properties just so that you can borrow and earn interest. Labs Group has this idea of resorts and vacations. So its approach to real world assets is not the most powerful, if I'm being honest with you, but it's extremely niched. And if that's going to be big, yes, Labs Group would have the first mover advantage in terms of that. But it's not really something that is in demand. I don't see too much demand around it, but it's a good option and it's a good alternative out there. So Labs Group, yeah, let's be optimistic and say this project goes to about 50 to 100 million dollars in market cap. That's about 20 to 40x from this point for the next bull run, in my opinion. So we're going to be moving on to the next project. But before moving on to the next project, let me quickly address some comments. Hello, Anthony Unduba. I appreciate you coming here, my brother. Kasim Nassar, I appreciate you as well. And Michael Jimanor, how many exits do you think Morpheus Labs can make from today to the next bull run? Okay, so I've given my thoughts on Labs Group in terms of the next bull run. Morpheus Labs is sitting at a market cap of $4.5 million, and I'm bullish on adoption. It's a blockchain tool. That's something that I really like to see in the crypto space. They have technology that can be utilized by Huawei, Stanex, and the like. So they also have interesting partnerships. I think Morpheus Lab, I'm more bullish on Morpheus Labs, to be honest, than Labs Group. And it's also reflecting, the market is also reflecting that it has a higher market cap right now. It's sitting at $4.5 million in market cap. So I think it can reach at least 100 in the next bull run. That's just my opinion. I don't have a crystal ball. I think these projects can, offer a product that many people will adopt. So I believe it can reach 100 million. It's not crazy returns, but that's over a 20x from this point here. So yeah, hopefully it can do more than that. And you can look at its previous performance in terms of market cap. Morpheus Labs went all the way to yeah, like I said, just I said it can go up to 100. Well, its previous all-time high is similar to that. Its previous all-time high is $76 million. I'm banking on the fact that Morpheus Labs goes to $100 million. So that's over a 20x from this point. Pretty decent returns, in my opinion. The thing about crypto is if you want 100x, if you want those crazy returns, you need to invest in micro caps. This is a low cap at 4.5. Micro caps are about 1 million, less than a million. So still decent returns, to be honest. Yeah, the next comment. Michael, can you please review Mask? Yeah, I'm going to cover Mask today. I'm going to give an update. But spoiler alert, I'm bullish on Mask. I still believe it's got a lot of long-term potential. Thoughts on Indigo Protocol. Today is about reviews of projects I've covered, my friend. I'll still touch on it if I have some extra time. And the patterns pattern. Yeah, I like, I think Labs Group is still decent. So XPNet is another project I'll cover if I have some time. The next project after Morpheus Labs and Labs Group is the GraphLink chain, GLQ. So this is another one that I really like. It's similar to its aim is somehow similar to Morpheus Labs, but its approach is different. Both of them are projects that want to allow adoption, that want to make adoption of the blockchain easier. Um, while Morpheus Labs provides SDKs and tools to develop these metaverse projects and the likes, GraphLink Chain uses the approach of an integrated development environment, a practically no-code environment to make it easy for people to deploy smart contracts, create all these kinds of things that people use in the Web3 space. And they have a product that is out there that is being used right now. So I'm bullish on the idea, and that idea hasn't changed. They haven't moved over to a new idea saying, oh, we are no longer a blockchain tool, we are now an AI project. No, they do have AI integrated there, but they are still true to the idea of being a no-code blockchain, and people are using it out there. So if you check their Twitter, the second criteria, the idea is true. Now let's check whether or not they are still active, they are still engaging with the community. And yeah, that's another yes for GLQ. They recently had an AMA, which means, you know they are engaging with the community, answering questions, and taking feedback to make sure that the project is how it's meant to be. So yeah, I like to see, I'm still bullish on GLQ as a result of that. I think it's still worth holding. I'm not worried about it. And if you the final part is the roadmap, I've tried checking the roadmap, but I can't really find it. So I'm not sure what they are doing right now to upgrade or update the project. But the current idea is still sound. So what do you do if you can't see any major updates in the works for a project? Then you have to look out for the marketing. You have to make sure that the project is pushing its current state or its current product to as many eyes as possible. So if I can't find what a project is doing in terms of its roadmap, I always check how well they are pushing what they have currently. And the most recent tweets have about 3 days interval. That's not bad. It means that they are still engaging, and I'm going to still keep following GLQ closely, to make sure that this investment is worth it, and whether or not they are still making sure that people are aware of the project, and making sure that people are knowing that, oh, this is a great product to help blockchain adoption. So yeah, it's not the most active, but they are active. They did hold an AMA, and the idea is still excellent. So another project that I'm willing to give a pass and is okay for holding long term in this live stream review. The next project is Big Data Protocol. So I'm not really worried about Big Data Protocol, because I checked the idea. Its idea is still true to the idea. It's got good tokenomics. $5 million in market cap. I'm still going to. I have to go back to give my targets for GLQ, but let me quickly go through Big Data Protocol. So Big Data Protocol is still good. If you check their most recent post on Medium, you would see that they are still updating and engaging with the community. So that's all good to say. What we should now be paying attention to is whether or not they are marketing and putting this product out there. But in terms of its idea, there's not really much to worry about with big data protocol. It's tokenizing data through an existing network of thousands of data providers. So I really think that's interesting. A very big data marketplace. I think tokenizing data is a big deal. So Big Data Protocol is sitting at a market cap of $5 million and 63% in circulation. Not bad at all. I think this is another one that I'm looking at as a 15 to 20x. Those are my targets, my conservative targets for the bull run. I think it can easily beat that, to be honest. So I think $200 million in market cap is actually decent for a project like this. Over 10,000 data points that you can data providers that you can tokenize from. So it's a very big marketplace, and its approach to data storage is very good. I'm a big fan of decentralized storage, and I think the blockchain's existence for the blockchain's utilization for decentralized storage is very justified. It's not centralized. There are fewer points of attacks and so on. So my targets for GLQ, I'm going to quickly come back to that. GLQ, yeah, maybe let me say GLQ can go much higher. I think it's undervalued. To be honest, it's very unique. So it's much higher than any other project that I've covered today. I'm seeing GLQ as at least a 50x, a 50 to 100x from this point. So yeah, that's my target for grappling protocol. Let's just say 70x. Let's have a middle ground. So I'm bullish on it. I think it's good that they're still having AMAs and updating it. And I'm going to move on to another project that I'm bullish on in today's updates. But before that, one more time, let me go through the comments. Updates on Hive. and Gene, my expected price, and projects like Bone. Yeah, I'll try and cover that. Yeah, so it's interesting. I'm glad you brought up Hive because Hive and Lanceria are among the projects that I have to do an update and a review on, whether or not they are still worth holding, if you've invested in them already. So I'm going to be honest with you. Recently I was thinking about Hive, and I'm still bullish. I'm very bullish on the idea of freelance on the blockchain. I'm bullish on Web3. So you all know I'm bullish on the Web3 solution of block of freelancing. But there's a bigger challenge, and that's not to do with Lanceria or Hive. The bigger challenge is something that is affecting every single freelance platform, whether it's Web 2 or whether it's Web 3, and that's AI. AI is quickly putting a lot of freelancers out of a job. Should I say a job? Many people are utilizing AI to write scripts, to write white papers. Some things I was doing as a freelancer, I'm seeing people using Chat GPT beginning to do it, art and free and writing, proofreading and the likes. So that's a big challenge, and it's allowing me to readjust my sites for allowing me to readjust my sites for freelancing on the blockchain. But I am still bullish on freelancing. I just think it's going to be a tougher battle with AI out there right now. So let's take a quick look at Lancera. There again, for those who are just joining us, there are three things you should pay attention to when updating yourself on a project. Check for if the project's idea is still true, whether or not they are deviating from their original idea. If they are deviating, that's a red flag. The second thing is to make sure that they are actively engaging with the community. And the third thing is to make sure that they are updating and following their roadmaps, improving the projects, whether there's good development around it. So for Lancera, the first thing we're going to be looking at is whether or not the idea is still there. And yes, the idea is still there, although Lancera is adding something else. If you look over here, there's lancera.com and there's Lancera games. The idea behind that is they're deciding to integrate the metaverse with a freelance platform. I think that's interesting, and it's something I was like, okay, I really hope Lanceria isn't trying to become a metaverse project now. And yeah, I'm not worried about that, because when I first spoke about this project, I spoke about it when they concluded the test net, and the test net is something I saw for myself. It looked very nice. So I really want them to pay attention, to keep building on that, to keep developing on that, and that's the idea. So the future of work, the main net for the Lanceria freelance platform is still there, and they still plan to integrate metaverse into it, so that's still there as well. So they are still staying true to the idea, even though they are integrating other aspects of blockchain technology to it. We see projects integrating things like AI into their projects. So Lancera adding the metaverse to their freelance platform might not be something that would make it super bullish, but as long as they are still staying true to the original idea of freelancing, then yeah, I'm not going to worry too much. The second part is the engagements with the audience, and they do have a lot of Twitter activity. I mean, they are constantly posting. Their most recent post was on 18th of July. That's about 4 days ago. So yeah, it's more now to do with whether how quickly. For me, if there is still if they are still done with just the test net, is now mainly what I would like to see is how quickly they can release their products. And this is where Lanceria is falling behind. They are falling behind compared to projects like Mask. Now with Mask, you see updates like, oh, we have 3,000, we have reviews coming in from our beta testers, and this is what they have to say. So there's a better update. A Lancera could really use with a better update. I have to be completely transparent with my audience. I put Lancera on your radar, so it's only fair I talk about it and express my concerns with it. So I'm still bullish on Lancera. I'm still bullish on its idea. I do wish that they would make better updates to show us that the mainnet is going to come live, and this is how far they've gone with it. And in response to that, yes, I went to their Telegram and I found out that the team recently went for an event and they were networking with some Binance team members. But that's usually what a lot of projects do: go for events, snap with some celebs in the crypto space and stuff like that. It's good to see them reaching out and being active, but for me, that's not enough. I want them to do more. I want them to show us snapshots of the freelance platform and stuff like that. So they are active, they are engaging. It's just not in a direction. I would say there's a better direction that they can take with updating us in terms of Lancera. So I'm still bullish on Lancera. Even though have expressed my concern with it, it's still a micro cap. And I think my concerns might be why it's still a micro cap. So Lancera to a $50 million market cap, if they have a product, the moment they launch their product, is going to be dead easy, in my opinion. So to $50 million in market cap, that's over 100x from this point. So this is a high risk, high reward play. Only if they release that product would we see that 100x gain. And I think that's very possible, because if you check the groundwork that they've laid so far is still good. They have good partnerships with IBM. They are data providers for Chainlink. So very interesting projects, and a lot of long-term potential with it once they have that product out there. It's the updates that I have issues with right now. I think they can do a better job with updating the audience and supporters of this project. So Lancera has a market cap of 76 percent. Sorry, it has a circulating supply of 76% and a market cap of $415,000. So I found this project. My patrons got in on it at around 250,000. So they are still in good profits. But I don't want a 2x. I really want to see 100x with Lancera. We're going to be moving on to another project that I've covered and I've called, and that's Hustle Project. Now, Hustle Project, I'm you know, if you've been paying attention, the three criteria, Hustle Project has marked all of them. They're still true to their idea. They're actively engaging with the community, and they're updating the packages that the product has. There's good updates with the games that they're trying to integrate. Now, imagine attending a concert in the metaverse. If you're bullish on the idea of the metaverse, I have no doubts that Hustleverse will take good advantage of that, but it's got its unique selling point. It's not just a gaming project like many other metaverse projects. It's a decentralized music platform. So very good use of NFT technology. You can put your music on the blockchain and get 100% of the royalties. It's active, it's being used out there. So I have no doubts in terms of updating you on Hustle. Yeah, I'm bullish on Hustle. I think it's still a low cap gem. It's highly undervalued. It's one that is sitting at 219,000 in market cap. So 100x is $20 million in market cap. I was able to talk about this project to my patrons at this same price point, as close to this price points. So I think this project still has that potential, especially in the niche it's working in, music and entertainment celebrities. The tokenomics on coin market cap isn't the same thing as with CoinGecko. On CoinGecko is about 28% in circulation. So 28% in circulation is not that good, especially for a project with a higher market cap. But considering this project is a micro cap, $200,000 in market cap, I'm willing to excuse it 28% in circulation. The next quick updates on the projects I've covered before is Mask. So I wouldn't really call this an update because I made a video yesterday and I spoke about Mask. So if you like to see fancy updates on Mask, you can go check out my most recent video. Mask is a project I'm still super bullish on. Again, like Hustle, they have all of those three criteria picked. They have good updates, they have good announcements, good developments, an active dev, staying true to the idea, improving on what they've built, and engaging actively with the community. So Mask, you're all good if you're invested in Mask. If you were paying attention to the dips when I was talking about Mask, like I was telling people about Mask again at 16 cents, you would be up like 23%. Pretty decent. And it's sitting at a market cap of 8 million, no VC funds and no private or seed rounds. Definitely one that can grow organically because it has a good and interesting use case for the next bull run. So I'm going to go through the comments one more time, and then I'll cover the last project, that's Broccoli. But my comments here, Mask is mainly listed on Sushi Swap and Uniswap, I think. So there's no major exchange listing, and I think I don't know about Probit. I can't recommend Probit, but Sushi Swap, Quick Swap, and Uniswap. That means we are still super early on Mask. Once it gets you want to get in on this project before they get listed on major exchanges like Mexi or KuCoin or Binance or Coinbase. That's when a lot of money will flow in. There'll be more accessibility. So right now, you can take good advantage of Mask being only on decentralized exchanges. So I think Mass still has a lot of long-term potential. I guess if the freelancers can't find a freelance job, then at least Lancera will help them earn money through play to earn. Yeah, well, that's a good idea. I like the fact that there's metaverse. So if they've integrated metaverse, they can be able to tap into an additional niche. So yeah, that's good. Hopefully, it doesn't distract them too much from what they are currently building. Um, August still waiting for the Operon Origins review. Operon from Cloco. Operon, I'll look into the project. If it's worth making a video on, I'll let you know. Or maybe I'll just start putting more community posts on quick reviews from the comments in my video. Do you still think Relio will gain institutional adoption? How do you think Relio will do? Relio is a very good real world assets crypto, and it's one of my favorites because, like Michael is saying here, it's able to provide tools that would help um, institutional adoption. So one of my biggest issues with Relio was the tokenomics, but thankfully the intelligence members in my Patreon, they let me know that that Relio actually has about 90% in circulation, not 8%. So it's hard to see because it's this tokenomics right here will put off a lot of people, but I was wrong. Yes, it happens. Even if I was wrong, Relio doesn't have bad tokenomics. It actually has very good tokenomics. It's got about 90% in circulation, and that's good to see for this project. So sitting at a market cap of $1.4 million and those tokenomics, the major issue now, the major challenge for Relio now is adoption. Do they have a product that people will want to use? And to that, I say, yeah, I think they have a suite of products that can gather adoption. The fact that they're putting DeFi tools for real world assets is a big deal, and eliminating the barriers to investing, trade, and leveraging exclusive real estates, private equity, and other real world assets through DeFi. So I like the fact that they are focusing, they are going straight for the big players, the institutional adoption. It would be good to see good examples, So it mainly has to do with how well marketing, how well Relio can market, the Relio team can market. So even though I didn't intend to cover this project today, let's take a quick look at it. Let's take a quick look at whether or not they are active and whether or not they are engaging with the community. Okay, a quick look at their Twitter can give me a lot. I'm going to quickly follow them now. Their last updates, July 18th. What was happening on July 18th? Why are many projects tweeting them for the last time? Relo blockchain updates version 0.8.3. And yeah, that's what I was talking about. Pay attention to projects that are actually updating, following roadmap and updating the products that they have. The fact, if a project is building, I really don't worry much about the price, because it means that they are making their products better. So if the idea is good and they are still building, they're still improving, like Hive just recently released version 2.5, or was it version 3.1? So XP Network, they also released a version 3.1. Hive release version 2.5, XP Network release version 3.1. They have a good idea, a good product, and they're still improving it. I don't really worry too much about it. I'm just going to invest in it and hope they do more marketing so that people can see the project. So in terms of releasing a new update, that's very good to see. I'm going to take a quick look at what the new update is about. Web3 ecosystem for digital and real world assets. You can stake and do more. There's security, Web3 compliance, good governance, distribution key. Michael, what I'll say to Relio is it's still a good hold in my opinion. I'm not going to worry too much about Relio personally. I've not seen any red flag pop up recently with Relio. So let's just cross our fingers and hope they keep marketing and the market picks up favorably on real world assets. So I'm still bullish on that long term. My price targets for Relio is still over a 50x from $1.5 million, and that's quite easy. It's not even up to $100 million in market cap. I believe it can achieve that. So yeah, still bullish on Relio. And the final project in my live stream today is the Broccoli network. So let's take a look at the idea. Are they deviating from their idea? No, they aren't deviating from the idea. And its idea is excellent, even though not many people are talking about it. I think it's extremely important for projects to be aware of their impacts on the climate. And that's exactly what Broccoli Network is all about, a Web3 solution to climate crisis. If we are going to have if we're going to have blockchain being adopted, people have to be comfortable using it. And that's exactly what Broccoli Network is doing. That's exactly what Broccoli is about. So Broccoli's major issue, its major red flag is there's about 50% locked, and that's a fear that some people have, a legitimate fear, but I'm not too worried about it. If it's locked, I think, you know especially at the market cap. But the idea is good. They have a working product and they are still active on Twitter. They're active, they're engaging with the community, so means they have a good product, a good idea, and they're engaging. So the idea behind Broccoli Network, for those who don't know, is a Web3 solution to climate crisis. Not only to make sure other DeFi projects on the blockchain are energy friendly, but to make sure that people can contribute to climate change in a decentralized manner. You really don't want the World Economic Forum to be dictating every single thing to people. So I think the fact that you can decentralize climate change, climate activism on the blockchain, it's quite neat. So there's not too many people that are hyped up for the project, but I do think it's a neat idea. The market cap isn't updated yet. It's less than a million, about 400. But you can see this project is active. Over 5,000 trees planted. They do research for recycling. They they do research to educate people about climate impact, and so on. So yeah, that's a quick update on my live stream today. I'm going to address the comments now and let you guys know what I think, moving forward, and address some comments as well. So these are projects that I'm always doing research on, and I'm always following up. So I have a portfolio. I review. Not only do I review portfolios, but I also follow up these projects. So if you'd like me to check your portfolio to make a good assessment of it, some good targets, estimates, and whether or not projects are okay, then I do have a Patreon service. I'm doing all of this crypto thing full time. So I would always make sure that these things are okay and that they're moving nicely. And that's where the sell alert comes in. So right now, I'm not selling any of the projects I've covered in today's live stream. I still think they are okay. I've expressed the areas of concern, but they are not enough. They are not pressing enough that I sell off the projects. So Graphlink Protocol, MITx, Labs Group. Even though I'm not holding Labs Group, I'm holding other reward assets projects. But I still think Labs Group is still decent. Relio, Big Data Protocol, Hustle projects, and Lancera, I still think they are okay. And that's my updates for today. So if you'd like to keep getting this kind of updates in real time and make one-on-one engagements, I do have a Patreon. Consider joining it. The links are down in the description. Message me on Telegram. So yeah, XP Network, one of my favorite low cap gems for the next bull run. I'm going to quickly answer Kazim Nazar. I think XP Network is a project I covered at zero. Hold on, let me bring up the charts right here. XP Network. Okay, XP Network. Share this tab. Move over to the. Okay, yeah. So right now, XP Network has been moving nicely, and yeah, I really wish you've been subscribed to my channel because I've been talking about it for a very long time. Much lower than this. Oh, there's no 3 months chart. But anyway, yeah, no, no, not there. Yes, at around 0.0027. So XP Network, I think a good entry is at 0.00 3 0.004, depending on how long you're willing to hold. But my friend, what I say to this kind of things is, what's your targets for this project in the bull run? What's the market cap? Exponential right now is at the market cap of $2.5 million. I think it can go much higher than that. I think it's highly undervalued, for what they are doing, for the problem they are solving. $2.5 million is undervalued for XP Network. It's a project that I think can go to 200, 200, $500 million in market cap. So $200 million in market cap is about a 70x from this point. I think XP Network can smash that. So my price target is your long-term target is what I would ask you to pay attention to. Where do you believe this project can get to? I believe it can get to $200 million in market cap. Where is it sitting currently now? It's sitting at 2.5 million. Now you could have gotten in at $1 million in market cap, so that's like 200x. But there's nothing wrong with a 70 to 100x. That's still pretty decent gains, and as long as the project is fundamentally sound and is good, that's the most important thing. Would you not have invested in Polygon Matic if you had the chance to get in at $10 million in market cap? I'm sure the answer is yes, you would have invested in Polygon Matic at 10 million because it has gone up to over a billion. So I'm giving XP Network, I'm covering XP Network now at $2.5 million in market cap. If you don't have some exposure and you're afraid it might start to dip a bit, there's nothing wrong. uh, there's nothing wrong with just buying some. I'm not saying buy 100%. You can buy like 20%. That's way you've cured your FOMO. And if it keeps going up, yeah, you're good. You're going to ride the moon bag up. But if it's dips, you can DCA on the dips. So that's my strategy with projects with projects like this. So I'm still bullish on XP Network. I think it can go far. Your entry points, you're the one that will determine what you're comfortable with, depending on how much you have and how much you are willing to invest. If you're referring to entry points in terms of chart analysis, I'm sorry to disappoint. I don't do technical analysis. I do more of sentiment analysis. So I really can't use charts to determine what points would be a good entry point. I think technical analysis might not really work for low cap gems. A tweet could easily change everything about a chart. So shout outs from Finland. Yeah, my friend. Paul now Messi, nice to meet you. The Betland of Nokia and IKEA. I appreciate you from watch for watching this. So shout outs from your favorite Guinean crypto YouTuber all the way from West Africa. What's my opinion? I just bought $1,000 worth of check dots. Well, um I had a very interesting conversation with Seth on the crypto gem hunters. Let me see if I can quickly bring that up. On the crypto gem hunters, if you see the channels, partner channels, the crypto gem hunters over here, live stream. So, yeah, Seth and I on this stream 3 days ago, we had a very interesting conversation about insurance crypto. So I like CheckDot. I'm still holding some CheckDots because I like to diversify my portfolio, and I think CheckDot is still quite interesting. At its price now, yeah, the entry position isn't bad either. It's being a bit oversold. So the idea behind CheckDot is excellent. It gives investors that confidence to move into the crypto space. So I'm not really worried about CheckDot. I think your entry now is decent. You know, if I were to get into CheckDot, the prices now are okay, and the idea behind it is good. So watch this live stream about 3 days ago. If you haven't done so, check the Crypto Gem Hunters channel as well. We also have a lot of live streams there. I think insurance can be a bit of a hit and miss because of how early we are with it in the crypto space. It's still a bit immature, and people can't be really compensated that much for it. But it's still a very good project, decent, good tokenomics, good announcements. They are on Avalanche, they are on Arbitrum ecosystem, and all of that. So I'm not too worried about CheckDots. Hello. I'm going to maybe I would make a video on Hello. I know Archie is bullish on it, but I haven't done my own deep research on Hello. The idea behind Hello is entertainment and TV show, crypto and the like. So I'll make a video, covering my thoughts on that. Projects like Bone, maybe another time. I'm planning to round up soon. Do you still think Hive and Hustle will do very well? Yeah. Um, I expressed my concern with the challenge of Hive. I think all freelance projects, all freelance platforms are going to face challenge with AI. AI can easily replace a lot of what people are doing. So you have to be exceptionally talented on exceptionally talented to be a freelancer now. So the competition is much more fiercer. This is a challenge that is not just facing Web3, is facing the Web2 space as well, and it's something that freelance is going to face as well. But when it comes to freelancing on the blockchain, you can't really go wrong with Hive. I think more talent is going to migrate over to the Web3 space, and Hive is going to be one of the best examples out there. Hustle too, the Hustle project, I'm not too worried about it. I like the fact that they are constantly updating and making sure that they are engaging and interesting. That take for example this tweet right here. Our team continues to make strides. Game updates, snapshots, the progress with procedural buildings. If you are a gamer, you would know what that means. You can really create a big open world maps. Developed a play to earn APY requirements. All of these updates. So they are developing the project. They are developing the already good product that they have. I like the fact that they utilize metaverse for their decentralized music platform. So that's its own unique selling points compared to other projects like Audios, and their tokenomics aren't the best, but it's much better than Rocky and the likes. and 28% for a $218 million, $18,000 market cap is pretty decent. So, Thor the Mighty, how's Odin the All Father? Nice to meet you, my friend. Um, yeah, so I really appreciate you, S Ready. I think I'm going to conclude it. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe, guys. I appreciate every single one of you for watching today's live stream. I think it's quite important to update my audience on projects I've talked about, whether or not it's worth holding, whether or not it's worth investing in. If you have any concerns with any project, feel free to put comments on my videos down below and I'll address them once I get to it. But if you'd like a quicker lead, quick and almost instant priorities, you want me to review this project or you want me to update your portfolio, what I think about your portfolio, then I do have Patreon services. You know, even currently rechecking my patrons portfolio and doing a review for them. So if you like that service, blockchain or crypto service that I offer, portfolio reviews, coin reviews, buy alerts, sell alerts, and the likes, then be sure to check my Patreon. The links are down in the description. Once again, thank you. I hope everyone had a wonderful week, and I'm wishing you an even better weekend. Thank you guys for joining me in today's live stream. Stay safe and take care. Bye bye.